Texas Congressman Michael Cloud is on that committee. He joins us right now. Congressman, welcome. Thank you for being with us this morning. Get us up to speed on where this investigation stands. And most importantly, why should people at home care about who was operating this Autopen?
Well, it's the big question, who was really running the country? And we've seen people come out now, the press secretary, Biden's press secretary, come out with a mea culpa in a sense, Jake Tapper backtracking as well on what was going on in the White House. You know, that nobody wanted to admit it until the disastrous debate performance from the left, and then they realized they had to swap out a candidate. But the big question is coming down the line: who was signing the pardons? Who was really making the decisions? And of course, Joe Biden's going to put out a statement that says he was doing it, but it'll be interesting to see as the truth comes out. As we begin to get into these depositions, the first one up will be his doctor, and so we'll see how that goes.
I want to talk a little bit about that, because we have word that 5 of the top officials surrounding the president have been asked to come in and talk about what they knew, when they knew it, what their involvement was, particularly his doctor. What is going to be the very first question that you are going to want to answer? And the very first answer you're going to want to hear from his doctor, his former doctor?
The first thing we'll do is establish a timeline. It's a basic fact pattern of what he knew, when he knew it. Did he do cognitive tests and just not tell anyone? Did he choose not to do cognitive tests? If so, why not? One of the interesting things that has come out was his cancer diagnosis. This isn't something that just developed over a month. Did he not do cancer diagnosis? He's been the Biden family doctor for quite some time. He wasn't just the White House physician. He's been the family doctor for quite some time. So did he never check that? Was this negligence? Was it an oversight? All these different questions about when he knew what, when, because he should have been the closest, the one to be able to come out and give the American people the truth on his health status, and especially as decisions were being made as to whether he was going to run again or not. That should have come into account. And in retrospect, of course, they'll admit that now, but at the time they were trying to hoodwink the American people. And so, we're gonna dig into this. It's interesting that he did not. We had to send a subpoena to get him to come. He did not comply willingly. We had to send a subpoena, so that's telling right there. But he'll be under oath, and we'll work to get these answers.
Yeah, the American people will be watching indeed. We know we've heard some conversations. We've actually heard the Speaker of the House, Mike Johnson, talk about an exchange he had with the president, asking the president about some policy that the president signed, allegedly, the president not knowing anything about what he was talking about, actually saying that that's not what happened, but indeed it was. He did sign that measure. Talk to me a little bit more about that. And do you think that we will eventually, the American people, get to the bottom of this? And what could the repercussions be for anyone who was involved in using this Autopen? Are there charges that are possible out of this?
Very much so. Biden's cognitive decline is pretty well documented, and people are willing to admit it now that the election's over. But what's concerning is the fact that this was going on and who was really making the decisions. You don't put it in a sense on Joe Biden that he was in that medical condition, but who was covering it up and who was then making the decisions. And then when you get the pardons and they're all signed with the exception of his son with the same Autopen, this is concerning. And so the big question is the American people deserve to know who was really making the decisions in the White House. And so this is the beginning of that, and certainly bringing the doctor forth is a good first step.
All right. Well, Congressman Michael Cloud, we appreciate your time today. Wish we could talk longer, but we hope that you'll come back and keep our viewers up to date as this proceeds, because we're talking about some very delicate situations worldwide right now. We want to all be confident that our leaders are in sound condition and making the decisions to keep the entire world and all of us safe. So, Congressman, thank you so much for your time this morning.